I saw you crossing the finish line at the Thanksgiving half. I want to know, like, what was the first race that you signed up for, and what was that journey like of training for? Or did you train for it? Because a lot of folks, they sign up for their first race. They're just like, I saw a link on Instagram, I'm going to do it. And they get out there like, oh, my knee, my leg. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what was your experience like for your first race?
My first race was the Peachtree, I believe. And honestly, it was an accident. I had been running, and I had a friend that was like, yo, you should run the Peachtree with me. And I was like, cool. And like, I'm from here, but if I'm being honest, I didn't know how long the Peachtree was. It was just like, the 4th of July, people run the Peachtree. So I was like, well, okay, let's run the Peachtree. And then I figured out, I was like, oh, hold on, wait. That's not the little 5K. I was a 3-mile warrior. And I'm not talking about 3.2, or like, I'm talking about like 3. And as soon as it said 3 in my headphones, I don't care where I was. Like, it was like, I'm like immediate breaks, right? Like, my wife was one of those people, like, she'll like, finish the run and get back home or whatever. I'm like, I ain't getting back nowhere. Like, as soon as I used to love to hear the little voice would be like, 3 miles. So I figured out the Peachtree was longer than that. I'm like, yo, okay, hold on. That's double what kid runs all the time. Like, I'm not. So I started to prepare for that race. Made my base run trained into it. And it was cool. Like, I was fine for that race. The track club has great marketing, so I finished the Peachtree. They're like, have you considered the 10-miler? I'm like, we here. I guess, why not? And so I ended up doing the Triple Peach several years back, and that was like my first running season. There were some other races that I did in there, but like those were the races that I was like benchmarking myself to. Like, finish the Peachtree. And what's crazy about this whole thing is that, like, it was right here. I remember at the start of the Peachtree, I wish I had a picture of my face, because I know I looked scared, because it was like, 6 of them things. Like, I don't have 6. I have 3. Well, at that point, 4. I'm sounding like a space player, but it was like 4, 5, and a possible, right? Like, it was like the 6th one, but like my bet to myself was like, okay, if I get to 5, I'm not gonna not finish the race at 5. That would be crazy. Like, that's just like a mile left. And that's kind of how it played out. But that first season, I was scared every single one of them. I was scared of the 10. Never will forget, because I probably could do a better job researching these races. Like, I don't study the elevations the way that y'all real runners. Like, study the elevations, know when to press and all that. I'm trying to finish. And so I remember turning back up through Midtown on the 10-miler. You have to get back up to Atlantic Station. How many people have done that race? Yeah, so like, you know what I'm talking about? Like, you go all the way through, and then you gotta hike it back up Midtown to get back to Atlantic Station. I remember looking up at the Atlantic Station hill and being like, nah, that's not, like, this is not. So that doesn't feel possible right now. Like, and I gotta go all the way through. I gotta go all the way back through Midtown, and then up. Because I remember going down it when you started, and that felt great. But like the up, I was like, I don't know. I don't remember what your question is anymore. Sorry.
Having flashbacks like he was in a war.
I'm like, no, but like, that's how I approach running sometimes. Like, it's not convenient. It isn't pretty, right? Like sometimes it's just, it's representative of life. It's ugly. It's mental warfare, and it is you talking to you every second till you get finished. And for me, it's whatever time I'm not. This morning I ran 5, and like 5, like. Not 5.1, not 5.5. But it's training for the rest of my day in a way that I appreciate.
So, it sounds like you set boundaries with your runs, but, some folks, they may not have a great relationship with boundaries. So I want to ask, when are you becoming aware of burnout? Because I know this is something that a lot of us suffer from, whether we're starting a business or we're just working somewhere. Even sometimes when you're on a running training journey, you're like, oh man, I'm kind of tired, but I still got these 16 miles a day. You know what I'm saying? So it's like how have you been able to recognize signs of burnout, and how do you handle that?
Look, I think it's like any other practice, right? Like it actually has to be like a true thing. We a lot of times, and this is where the entrepreneur in me will definitely come out. I believe that you have to go. You have to go flirt to figure out like where that line actually is for you, and like listen to your body. This isn't a go and put yourself in some dangerous situation. But as we all have seen, like when you press, you'll look back on runs that you used to do that felt impossible and be like, I mean, it wasn't that long ago that I was running way worse than this. So I'm probably not the best person to answer this question because I need to go see, right? Like if running for me is a part of a test of myself to figure out like where the line kind of is. And look, there have been days where I've woken up and I'm like, okay, this don't feel good and this don't either. And that's probably not the day to go after it. But I don't feel like it. I mean, we all don't feel like it. Like, I don't feel like doing a whole bunch of stuff. But, okay, right? So I try to put running in the same category. Like, I give you 20 things today that I didn't feel like it. But they had to happen. Those 5 miles had to happen, right? And you haven't asked me this, I'm just going to tell you, like, I admire the runners that are probably here where you finish and feel exhilarated. And, you know, people after the race are like, it was just the best day of my life. I just, you know, I feel all the energy. It's just amazing. That ain't me. Like, I'm not thrilled after I get finished. Like, I'm not with respect, like, I aspire to be like you. If you're one of those people that just, you know, I just so much energy after my runs. I just, you know, I guess I know what you're talking about. Or like I hit a high like in mile 7. It just, you know, I just can't. I'm like, I ain't hit nothing but pain in mile 7. Like, it was, you know, and it does get better. I have recognized, well, like, wow, like I'm doing a lot better. This feels a lot better than it used to. But I'm not one of those runners that just is like, just love it. Love every moment of this. This is just you know, there's aspects of it that I like, but like as cliche as it sounds, it's said in running circles all the time, I like to finish. That is the most satisfying moment. Like when when little voice in the headphones says I'm done, I'm like, that to me is the reward, not, you know, how great mile 4 was. It wasn't great today.
One thing I've learned on my running journey is like, you know, when I'm training, there was definitely a lot of times where it's like, I don't feel like it. But, you know, after a while, you have to learn that, you know, the discipline is what gets you there. You know what I'm saying? The discipline takes over when the inspiration ain't. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing I've learned. Another thing I wanted to share too is like, as far as like just all the aches and pains of things, like I always tell folks, like, pay attention to your body when it's whispering so you ain't got to listen when it starts screaming. You know what I'm saying? Because that's when you're in trouble. It's like, oh, shit, I can't move, bro. Like see, man, it was whispering to you 2 weeks ago. You know what I'm saying?